Hi, I'm Anthony Coppage, and I'm going to be showing you my screen recording here of me presenting the retrospective radar for the talk using qualitative feedback in a quantitative way. The retrospective radar on the screen is shown in Mural. Mural is an application that allows for all of the team members to be online at the same time and capture their notes, share the information during a live WebEx or in person, and take that information to figure out how they're going to prioritize their work next week based on those learnings, as well as provide feedback either directly to a manager or beyond to senior leadership. Though this doesn't have to be done in Mural, I'm showing it here because of the interactive tool during a work from home environment that we're in, because it's so easy to use, and because it works well for our purposes. So without going any further, let's dive into what the retrospective radar is. You'll notice that on the right-hand side, there's an outline view in Mural, which makes it very easy for me to just highlight. So I'm just going to use that to make this simple for this short recording. I described the purpose of it as this. We want to use this, the retrospective radar, to help facilitate the retrospective meetings that teams are already having. So in the Agile context of learning from what just happened and taking that opportunity to share the insights together, we're combining the retrospective meeting with the planning meeting so that together it's more efficient. Additionally, we're doing this so that all the team members get the simultaneous value of shared insights. And it provides actionable steps for prioritizing their upcoming work for the very next iteration. But most importantly, it gives us, management, feedback for acting on and adjust our strategic plans for responsive changes in the marketplace based on their feedback. And we do this on a weekly basis. I have the squads keep their information here just so I can say who was who, but it's not really important for the purpose of this demonstration. How the radar came to being was I'm a huge fan of the Circles of Control, Influence, and Concern by Stephen Covey. And so overlaying the Starfish retrospective by Pat Kua, who I reached out to and talked about this, thinks it's a good idea, by the way. I like the way he took the start doing, stop doing, less of, keep doing, more of, kind of the 5 actions you can take for prioritization, and I just overlaid it on top. So it actually looks like this. And what you see now is what I call the retrospective radar. This is the radar. But the whole exercise together, we just call it that, just it's easier for the squads. So in the retrospective meeting, they are still going to have their retrospective area. And here they're going to drag the sticky notes down for the color that they want to represent what's worth sharing. And here we're doing an oversimplified version with our Agile Digital Sales Squads because we're trying to figure out how do these individual contributors share insights, learnings, and best practices so that we scale that learning or that insight not only to the team, but then beyond to other teams, since we have similar roles all across the organization. And because of this tool makes it really easy to do that. So a typical retrospective will look like this, wherein you've got the team actually giving us their feedback. They take that feedback, talk about it together, talk about what the new ideas are, and then they commit by dragging those over to the radar itself to show us what they're thinking. In this case, someone said they're going to start doing something, less of doing something, or keep doing something. And that's for the members themselves. Here you see that's the circle of control in teal. It's what they can control. No permission needed, self-directed teams. Go take care of what you need to do. But when they need help or when they feel they have a blocker or something they want their manager to get involved with, that's the yellow circle. And that is what we call the circle of influence. That's what their manager can help them influence in this case. And so if they want the manager to know, hey, this thing we're doing isn't working, it'd be really great if we could stop doing this, and they think the manager's the person to go to, they would drag it here. Again, each segment has a ability for them to drag it into. The colors are changed, you'll notice, from the left-hand side, only because we do that after the fact. And that's from a recording standpoint so that we can filter the results. So we take that extra step after the squads are done. Finally, is that circle of concern. This is what we would like the senior leadership to address. So this is their chance to go, skip level and let the senior leadership know about something that's either causing a pain or a problem, or it's an opportunity to do something better or to start and try something entirely new. And it's given to the leadership directly by the reps. So this gives us a very, very helpful way of doing this. For example, a squad that's doing this pretty well gives us a lot of feedback every week. And it depends on what they're looking to achieve. In this case, this one had nothing for the senior leadership, only for their manager, and the rest was for the squad themselves. That's very, very common. So we take this information, we have the squads give us this feedback, and then we export this. And in Mural, that's pretty simple because we simply highlight, right-click, download as a CSV file. So all the text of their feedback is immediately available. But because we color code and have a unique hex code value for each segment and circle, you'll notice the colors change as you go within a circle, segment to segment. The same color exists for all of the circle of control because that's really not feedback. That's for the reps to prioritize their own work. And as a result, we're not filtering feedback that way. We're just counting the number of responses so we understand the overall usage of the tool and to understand how squads are or are not prioritizing and being self-directed. It's just very helpful in that regard. But because we do this color code, we're able to export and then represent that. And it looks like this. We take that data, import it here into this tool, which is Excel in this case, and into the slicers, we're able to choose by squad what that feedback looks like. So it's all squads that we have at the moment, and I'm only highlighting the circle of concern and circle of influence. This lets us see everything they gave feedback for senior leadership or for their manager. It does an aggregate count of the total number of sticky notes that we've captured since we started doing this by team, by circle, so how much is in circle of influence versus concern. Here we see about 2/3 goes to managers, about 1/3 goes to the senior leadership, and then by segment, things they're saying they want less of or keep doing, start doing, more of, or to stop doing. And then we show a status, and this is part of the power of this. Because we want feedback to lead to change, we actually have each manager give access to this report so that they're able to go in and read each individual line by line what the feedback was and then respond. Has it been started? Is it under consideration? In progress now, or is it long term? Has it been escalated because they can't solve it so they're pushing it upline? Or do they need more information before they can make a decision or know what to do with it? How much has been completed and how much have we declined for a number of reasons? Sometimes it's governance or policy, or we just don't have the bandwidth to handle that particular request, but we'll hold on to it potentially. So we give this feedback so that the reps start to see that their feedback really does lead to change. We then filter against that either by circle and segment or by the business unit or status of the most completed cards, and we look at the categories this way. It's just a great visualization. But what's important about it is that we're able to filter on a squad by squad basis as well. So if I wanted to look at the Philadelphia Telco squad in this example, I would see their total number of things for their local manager, that circle of influence only. I still see the data breakdown in real time. And then when I scroll down, I'm actually able to go and read the exact verbatims of everything they've ever told us that the manager then can denote. Is that not started? Is it completed, escalated, or in progress? And so every bit of feedback is actionable. So this is the beauty of the retrospective radar as we take this data and manipulate it. We're getting qualified information, qualifiable data that's really helpful because this qualified data gives us validation of insights. The data we get from hard data for our metrics is then compared against this. So we have qualified insights now being done in a quantifiable way. And this has been the game changer because we can scale across one squad or all squads and look for patterns. We can look for trends and we can prioritize our focus as leaders on what we're going to take action on based on what's happening in the market and based what our squads are telling us. Because we can do this at a micro level, on a squad by squad, line by line level, and at a huge aggregate level for all of the squads, we have insights that have never before been possible. We then take two more steps. The next step is we have an executive monthly dashboard that we show them where was the feedback by segment, what was the total number in concern, influence, and control, and we're looking to see what was the feedback over time. As we do this with the rolling 90-day average, we can see what percent was in control or influence and concern. And one of the things we're looking for is how much can we get moved into concern. In other words, how how well are we empowering the reps to actually be self-directed? And that's a good proxy for that. So we look to see this control increase over time. We'd like to see the concern and influence decrease because that means we're actually solving the things they're asking for, their feedback is leading to change, and they're getting the results that they want. We then highlight a few key items here on the right-hand side in this dashboard report, but we also make, on a BU by BU basis, the filtered feedback available for executives. And of course, with a chain of command, we're able to see that aggregation of data escalated until we can get to a person who can make a decision around something that's a larger or a systemic issue. We also capture our revenue versus non-revenue generating. This is just sample numbers down here, but it shows that we're able to show the amount of revenue generating versus non-revenue generating work so that we can find out how do you free the sellers up to do more revenue generating. We often, as a large company, can have systems and processes that get in the way of that, administratively heavy. And we want to mitigate that and minimize that as much as possible. So we capture this as a rubric right here as well. So this is all part of a larger process, but ultimately the retrospective radar has been a game changer because it gives us the ability to see, act upon, and understand what the reps are saying, why they're saying it, at scale, and we can share those insights across teams. We can share these insights up and down the organization, and we can pivot based on market demands and the feedback from those doing the work, which is what we find to be incredibly valuable. And so that is the retrospective radar in a nutshell. Here's my presentation just so you can see what I want to talk about when I present this topic. Thank you.